In order to get your free pattern, follow the link down below and it'll show you where to go. This is the template, so the first thing we have to do is cut it out. So we're going to follow along the lines on the outside. So this is your seam allowance. So we're going to cut all that out. B and A are exactly the same, so I'll show you how to do one of them blocks and we'll come back and do C also together. You will notice that it starts with B1, B2 and B3. So obviously we want to start with B1. So we're going to fold that in half like this. And we're bothered about this line going across here. So with foundation paper piecing, you want to make sure that you cover this whole area with the yellow and you're going to cover this whole area with the white. So let's get on and do that. With foundation paper piecing, your work is done on the other side of the paper. So I'm just gonna line everything up. So you want the yellow to be on first and then the white. And basically you want at least 1/4 of an inch over, like so. And then we can cut it down later if it's a bit too much. So that's exactly how much we want. And then we're going to take it over to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew this into place. And another thing to mention is the yellow section. It wants to be face up. This needs to be face up. The white needs to be face down. This is my Baby Look Soprano Let's Talk setup. I'm not paid nor sponsored to create this video. Now what I'm going to do is leave a normal straight stitch on my sewing machine and take these stitches down to maybe a 1.6 because we are sewing such a small area. We want them stitches to be narrow. Now in the top thread there's going to be my Gutermann regular polyester thread. In my needle there's going to be a 9014 sewing needle, and also my regular foot is on my sewing machine, and also some white bobbin thread. So we're going to sew straight down this line here. So I'm going to get my foot into place and drop that needle and sew straight along that line. What I generally like to do is go back as well, back stitch. And then go forward. And then sew straight along that line. And then just before we come to the end, we're going to do it again. We're just going to reverse and then stop. This is perfectly 1/4 of an inch. I'm not going to bother cutting any of that away. And then also, you're going to have some threads hanging out here. So you just want to keep trimming these. Then go ahead and push that back. Now I don't like getting up and down and going to my iron. I am just going to finger press, and then we'll move on to the next section, which is B3. So we're going to fold this back. Now we have excess again of this fabric. So you can either get your rotary cutter or you can hold the part down and you can just get your scissors and cut. It doesn't have to be a perfect 1/4 of an inch, just has to be 1/4 of an inch. Then we're going to get our next yellow and flip that back up again. Put that right sides down. And then you're going to sew all the way across here. Now what we're going to do is push that yellow section back. And then that's the first unit of our mini quilt. So what we're going to do now is we will have to use a rotary cutter for this section and a ruler. So we're going to cut all the way around the outside of this paper. Don't cut the paper away, that's your seam allowance. Cut to that very edge. Do that all the way around. Once we have cut everything away, you'll start to see it coming to life. So I'm going to let you get on and do A. So we're going to take C1 and C2, and remember we want that 1/4 of an inch excess, and the white is first. So I've got the white on the back first and then the yellow. Now I have a printed yellow, So that needs to be faced down, and then the white needs to be faced up. So we're going to take this over to the sewing machine and sew that into place. Okay, so you're going to flip that back, and then you are going to find the next section, which is C3, and you're going to fold that back. We are going to cut away 1/4 inch. And we're going to put the white on the next section. Go ahead and stitch that into place. Have you seen these two sections, how I've not made it quite long enough for this white section? This is why you've got to be careful. So these white bits need to exceed this pointy bit here. So I'm just showing you because I don't want you to make the same error, but I'm going to keep going because I don't think it's going to be too bad. So I'm going to cut away the edges. This is how our miniature quilt block looks. I'm going to take the paper out of this one, and I'm also going to take the paper out of the middle one. Then we're going to put these two sections right sides together. Now what we're going to concentrate on is we want to nest these seams, and we want them to be perfectly in line with each other. And then once we are happy they are, we could stitch them down into place, making sure that you have 1/4 inch seam. It's really important to have a 1/4 inch seam, so test it out that it is actually sewing 1/4 inch. I'm going to use stitch number 30 on my machine. Once that is done, you're going to open it up and press it. You're going to take the next side, pull that paper out, place these right sides together, and sew right along 1/4 inch. Now open this out and press. Now you're going to take your backing fabric, put it face down on the table, your batting, and you're going to put your miniature quilt top over the top, and then we're just going to do some decorative stitches over the top of this, holding all the layers into place. So this is decorative stitch number 4 on my machine, and wouldn't this look great as a cushion cover? It looks awesome. So let's put the binding on. Because this is such a small miniature quilt block, I'm going to do my binding at 1 3/4. I won't go any more because you're going to really struggle. Fold in half and press. Now we're going to sew about 1/2 inch right at the corner with the binding on. And you're going to leave a little bit of excess. So you're basically just basting it on with like 3 stitches. You're going to lift the binding up so it does this. And you're going to pull it back down onto itself, just like that. And then you're going to stitch all the way down, stitching it into place. Now we are at the next corner. Once again, you're going to lift it all the way up and then fold it back on itself and stitch all the way down. Flip it up, fold it back onto itself, and then sew all the way down. Now you're going to do that same, this last one again. So you're going to flip it up, fold it back onto itself, and then once again you're just going to do like them 3 stitches, just securing them down. I highly recommend that you get one of these. I will place a link in the description box down below. That link will be for an Amazon link, and if you choose to buy from that link, I may get a small commission at no extra cost to you. So basically I'm going to put this ruler down here, and then where it says 1 3/4, which is this first one here, I am going to fold the other part of the binding over like that, and I'm going to chop this away. Make sure it wasn't folded on you, or like just make sure that this is flat down. So basically we are going to place the one that was on the top up and down, and the one on the bottom is going to go from left to right, and then you're going to join them together with some clips. I also find it easier to fold the miniature quilt in half and work from the back. So this is what we've just this is what we just clipped here. So basically this corner here and then the other corner here, you're going to draw a straight line across. You can also use this ruler to draw that straight line. So basically I take these clips out and you can place the ruler over, find that corner. So that's one of the corners there, and the other corner is there. Basically, once you get the diagonal line going in line with the diagonal line of the binding, and then we are going to mark a line going across. You may want to clip again because it will come away, and that line going across, you're going to sew straight across it. Now we're going to take this clip out, and then this will just fall nice and flat on your miniature quilt. You're going to sew all the way across here. I would cut all of these threads away because they are going to get in the way for the next stage. Now what you're going to do is flip the binding back to the other side. Now go ahead and hand bind to the back. This is what the finished miniature quilt block looks like. I hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial. I have over 500 sewing and quilting videos, so don't forget to subscribe, comment and like down below. Also, I shall see you next week. Bye bye.